Hello, artists! We will be drawing landscapes using one-point perspective. First, use your straight edge, like a ruler, to draw your horizon line where the sky meets the ground, and then draw your vanishing point anywhere on that line. All the objects in your landscape will lead back to this vanishing point. I'm going to turn these two lines into a street, but of course your landscape might be different. You could turn this little triangle section into a river or into a nature path or a railroad. Your landscape is up to you, but the rules of perspective will be the same. Here I'm adding extra lines to be a sidewalk, just by adding horizontal lines across it. Uh-oh, I just made a perspective mistake. If you ever notice your sidewalk tilting up or your trees looking like they're falling over, you just made a simple mistake that you need to erase. No big deal, that's why we draw light until we get it right. The reason why my sidewalk looked like it was tilting up is because my lines were diagonal, and I want them to be straight horizontal lines parallel with the top and bottom edges of my paper. Now I'm going to draw a row of trees. So I want to draw two guidelines that are leading back or connected to the vanishing point. The bottom of the tree trunk or the tree roots will reach the bottom guideline, and the leaves will reach the top to stretch my tree to fill up the whole space. Any additional trees that I draw will fill that space as well, but they'll get slightly smaller and smaller and smaller as they reach closer to the vanishing point. I forgot to mention to make sure that your tree trunks are vertical or parallel with the left and right sides of your paper. Otherwise, they might look like they're falling over. The space between these front two trees was looking a little empty to me, so I decided to add a bench. I just drew 3 lines connecting back to the vanishing point, and then I drew a capital L in 2 places on the bench. Of course, you need to also add 3 legs for the bench to sit on. The 4th one you don't need to add because you wouldn't be able to see it from your perspective. On the right side of my paper, I decided to add a house. You can add a house or any building that you want by starting with a simple shape, like a square or a rectangle. If you want a pointed roof, you can also add a triangle on top. And then connect the vanishing point to the house by having your lines connect with the corners of these simple shapes. Decide how far back you want your building to go, and then draw a line that is parallel to your original shape. On the front of your building, if you want to add doors or windows, just draw simple shapes as well. But if you're adding anything to the side of the building, you do want the tops and the bottoms of your doors and windows to be connected back to the vanishing point. So here I'm drawing a simple window and a simple door, and you'll notice that the top and the bottom of those shapes were connected back to the vanishing point. And don't forget about your sky. You can add objects to the sky like clouds, sun, moon, airplanes, birds, whatever your heart desires. I think perspective artwork looks best if you don't have a whole lot of big empty spots showing. So try to fill up the spaces of your paper by adding more plants or buildings or objects in the sky. And objects in the sky like these clouds or my sun do not need to be connected back to the vanishing point because they are not part of the ground on Earth. Once you're happy with your drawing in pencil, go back and add some color. Here I'm just using a black marker to outline everything and erasing my pencil lines that are still showing afterwards. Of course, if you want to use different materials for me, you're more than welcome to. You could use paint or colored pencils. Here I'm adding color with some crayons. I hope you learned a lot with drawing in one point perspective, and I'm so excited to see the landscapes you create.